Welcome, everyone. This is the Air Conservation Commission meeting. It is Thursday, October 8th, 2020. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, Governor Baker issued an emergency order temporarily suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. Public bodies otherwise governed by the OMI are temporarily relieved from the requirement that meetings be held in public places, open and physically accessible to the public, so long as measures are taken to ensure public access to the body's deliberations through adequate alternative means. This meeting will be broadcast live on Channel 8 and on Zoom. The public may participate remotely by following the called-in information on the bottom of the live broadcast screen. For the Zoom meeting information relating to remote participation, please contact Cindy Knox, IT Director, at cknox@ayer.ma.us or 978-772-8252 prior to the meeting. The commissioners in attendance this evening are Jen Amaya, he's our timekeeper, George Bacon, commission member, Jess Gugino, she's our clerk, Mark Phillips is vice chair, myself, John Schmallenberger, chair. I think that's all we have to do right now. So do we have a confirmation of agenda?
Yes, we do.
Okay, motion to approve the agenda as written.
Second.
George moved the motion and Mark Phillips seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, confirmation of agenda has been approved. Approval of meeting minutes. Any discussion about the minutes?
Edits made?
I'm sorry?
Edits have been made?
Edits have been made.
Thank you. Awesome.
Many edits.
You're going to die for that one, John.
Is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes as written?
Second.
Righty, George Bacon moved the motion. Mr. Phillips seconded. Jen Amaya, how do you vote?
Aye.
George Bacon, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess Gugino, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark Phillips, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. Do we have any accounts payable?
Yes, we do. We have two recent invoices from Solitude Lake Management for tasks 3 and 4. Task 3 was the sonar booster treatment at Sandy Pond on the 23rd of September for a total of $2,250. You want to do them one at a time, or shall I tell you about them both?
We can do them one at a time.
All right, so there's that invoice, $2,250 for task 3, the sonar booster treatment at Sandy Pond.
So is there any discussion about this from the commissioners? Any discussion from citizens watching? All right, is there a motion to pay Solitude the amount of $2,250 for, what was it for again?
Task 3, the sonar booster treatment at Sandy Pond.
Task 3, sonar booster treatment at Sandy Pond.
Second.
George Bacon moved the motion and Mr. Phillips seconded. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Jess?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. Motion has been approved. There's a second one, is there?
There is a second one, task 4, also done on September 23rd, was the water lily treatment at Flanagan's, Pine Meadow, and Sandy Ponds for $3,500.
Any discussion from commissioners, questions? Any discussion or comments, questions from members or citizens that are watching the meeting? Okay, so is there a motion to approve paying the amount of $3,500 to Solitude for the task 4 treatment, water lily treatment at Sandy, Pine Meadow, and Flanagan's Pond?
So moved. Second.
George Bacon has moved the motion, and Mark Phillips has seconded. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Jess?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. Any other accounts payable?
That's all we have.
All we got. Did that come out to be exactly what they had quoted us?
I suspect so, but I haven't actually added the invoices up. I'll do that and just double check.
Okay. Very good. The first item this evening is the public hearing notice of intent. Groton Shirley Road Air DPW DEP file number. It says to be assigned, but I believe we have the DEP file number.
0450.
0. So one more time, please.
0450.
So 100 dash. All right. There, from what I understand, there are still a few pieces of the puzzle that we don't have yet. And did they request a continuance?
Yes, yep. The DPW superintendent did request a continuance.
Okay. While it's open, is there any questions or discussion from the commission? Any questions? I'm sorry.
That continuance is so they can address the DEP technical comments.
Say it again.
So their request for a continuance, is that to address the DEP technical comments?
I believe
Yeah.
so.
Yes.
Any other questions, comments? Questions or comments from citizens viewing? All right, is there a motion to continue the public hearing notice of intent, Groton Shirley Road Air DPW DEP file number 100-0450 until, are we gonna do it on the 22nd?
I did tell Superintendent Wetzel that we would do it on the 22nd, even though the agenda was already full for that evening.
Okay.
He's very anxious to get going on this project, and so I told him we would accommodate him as best we could.
Okay, so we shall continue on the 22nd. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
The motion was moved by Mr. Bacon and seconded by Mr. Phillips. Jen, how do you vote? Jen, how do you vote?
Sorry. Aye.
Thank you. George?
Aye.
Jess?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. So hopefully we can get that wrapped up next time. The next item this evening is the public meeting violation notice, 21 Oak Ridge Drive, Dennis and Marianne Simeon. We were out there, was it last Saturday?
Yeah.
Last Saturday.
Yes, Saturday.
And for a site walk, and it was nice to meet, for me to meet the Simeons. And
Likewise.
oh, good, nice to see you. Without a mask on.
Yes, as human beings.
So the issue was that there was a large amount of sand, basically sand, that was moved down the hill to the edge of the pond to act as a barrier to keep kids that are sledding down the hill from sliding into the pond. I think that was the intent.
Yep.
Yep. And it's in violation of the wetland protection. So it's up to us to try to figure out what to do to protect the pond and also to protect your children.
Yeah.
All of the commissioners were out there on the site walk. And do the commissioners have any thoughts, comments about how to correct this violation? Anyone?
I'm sorry, George, go ahead.
I think the issue is that the sand pile is so close to the pond that rain is going to wash the sand into the pond. So in general, I would say you either have to put a barrier between the sand and the pond, or move the pile away, or replace it with something that won't wash into the pond.
Okay, Mark, you had some thoughts?
Well, I just wanted to, clarify again that, if the main focus of this was to, again, kind of create that barrier and obviously, make it a aesthetically appealing barrier, that's great and all. But if we are talking for a sledding type situation, which occurs for a small portion of the year, I'm wondering if there's something else that could be done in total that is more temporary. It might not be very pretty and all, but I think some had thought about just putting up a simple, some of that plastic snow fence or whatever, just something to keep the kids from getting into the pond, right? In lieu of doing or having the sand, the berm placed where it is, and again, noting that there is some already erosion that is, getting into the pond, and it looks as if, from what I could gather, it looks as if, some of the fill has already either been placed on top of, the embankment or the edge of the pond itself, or whatever sort of vegetation that may have been there to begin with. So, I guess I'm just wondering, why was that not thought of, or maybe it just, didn't occur to Dr. Simeon.
Any other suggestions, comments from commissioners?
George, when you were talking about the barrier, were you thinking of a retaining wall?
It depends. If they want something permanent, then it would have to be, it could be something temporary, like snow fencing or hay bales or something like that.
I think Jess is saying between the pile and the pond.
Yeah. Between the pile and the pond, it would have to be something fairly substantial.
Yep. Jen, any thoughts?
Nope, I think we've got it covered.
Well,
I do have one suggestion for you all to think about. There would be the possibility of stabilizing the pile of sand that's there now by covering it with jute matting, perhaps, and then planting into the sand so that the roots would take hold of the sand and prevent erosion. It would be a little bit of a challenge to come up with a list of plants that would actually thrive under those conditions, but there pretty much is a plant for every situation. That's one possibility. I just wanted to make sure you were all thinking of that.
I was wondering about if you couldn't pull back some of the pile. There seemed to be a depression between the house and the pile, just to pull it back a little bit, level that off, and then do so that it's not quite such a high hump right next to the pond, and either stabilize it that way or to keep kids from sledding into the pond, just temporary, like you were saying, fencing or hay bales. But it seems like if you could pull it back a little bit, I mean, to get rid of the pile, I think would be quite a hardship to get all that dirt out of there.
You might have a neighbor that could use some fill.
Yeah, I think the neighbor has enough. Yeah, it's right there. Although we can negotiate. So, if I understand, are there any suggestions, any thoughts, or can I share mine?
Please.
Okay. So, as I understand, we're dealing with the concern that the erosion of the fill can continue into the lake, and we want to make sure that is stabilized and is also aesthetically appealing. I agree with everyone, because as I look from across the lake, it looks really ugly. You know, I wouldn't want to say I live there. But from what I have noticed, moving all that, it's not pure sand. It is very sandy, but it's combined with fertile soil, and there are multiple roots when I moved it. So I don't think there will be a problem with the roots getting into it and also stabilizing. And also I had been walking on it, and there was no indication that it will start sliding towards the lake. So in terms of stability, in my opinion, I think it's pretty much stable, but I do agree that it is necessary to plant something that has aggressive roots, so that when we have rainstorms, we won't start doing anything, to move the sand towards the pond. So I think that might be, in my opinion, now I do whatever you tell me, but in my opinion, I think that might be something that will improve the aesthetics. I can plant some of those, I don't know how they are called. They look like pine trees, but they're really small and they expand. And those retain also the soil, and I've seen them on hills, on slopes everywhere, and they're very good at keeping it. Also, I can shovel a little bit so that it will eliminate that hump and level it inside. But again, I'm going to go back to the same problem with the kids sledding, because if it is no longer something that they can stop into, they may, we may go back to the same situation of them jumping into the lake. And also, that is very shallow. And when it starts warming up a little bit, the water melts at the edge, and that's where they get stuck in the mud and in the water, even though there might be ice like 3-4 feet away from the edge. That is where it always melts first, and it might be a danger for kids. And when they have their friends over and they can say, "Hey, don't have fun at my house," it's kind of between two hard places. So will that be satisfying if I use what Mrs. Kristoff suggested, like a matting with planting? I have to do some research to see what really stabilizes in that type of ground and environment, of course. Level it a little bit so that it will be aesthetically appealing and blending with the environment. Or are there strong feelings for me to do something else? I mean, I'm open to any suggestion.
So I think as John had suggested about pulling it back from the pond a little bit, if we could pull back, I'd say, roughly a foot or so, John, maybe 2. I don't know what you thought. I was trying to remember the dimensions of it. I kind of remember it being about 5 to 6 feet wide, right?
And about 3 feet, maybe not 3 feet, 2.5 feet tall.
Yeah.
That could be reduced some and then stabilized, and like you say, with plantings to make it look nicer and also to protect your family. Joanne, could you give them some suggestions on plantings that could stabilize it and also maybe even act as a little bit of a barrier themselves?
This is Art Allen from Ecotech. I can actually make some suggestions if you like.
Please.
Fantastic.
So Art Allen from Ecotech, peer review consultant for the commission. So if there is organic material in it, I believe he said the low growing pine that he was talking about, probably something called rug juniper. It's a low growing form of the juniper plant. So it's juniperus something or other. I don't know what the name is, but that would be, if you have some organic matter. If it's really pure sand.
No, it's not pure sand.
Okay, no. Yeah, well,
organic,
I'll just throw this out anyway. American beach grass. It has really aggressive roots. It's readily available. They do dune restoration with it all the time on the coast. So those are 2 suggestions depending on what type of soil you have in the pile. Thank you. Sorry to butt in.
Oh, thank you, Arthur. That's a great idea. I love it.
Art, are you thinking Spartina?
No, Spartina is the marsh grass.
Okay.
American beach grass is what grows on the dunes themselves, on the dry sand dune, and it has extremely long and tough fibrous roots. But if it's not pure sand, it's not gonna do that well. So probably the rug juniper would be better if it has some organic.
All right. Commissioners, okay with these suggestions?
Yep. I think that sounds good.
So can you sum it up? Would be pulling it back a foot and then lowering the height a little bit? Or what exactly are we?
I think to fill in that void that's behind it, between the house and the hump, if you could pull it back 3 feet and lower the height of it by a foot or so, it would help to level out that area a little bit and make it more aesthetically appealing, and still act as a bit of a barrier.
Lower the height. How much, John?
A foot.
Okay.
And then we also need to remember to uncover the roots of that maple that's right on the edge there, because that much material will smother that that tree.
Yep. Yeah. We spoke about that, and I had that on my to-do list. Also, because I see we were almost up in terms of time. Whom do I work with in terms of checking to make sure that I'm doing the right thing? Should I be in touch with Joanne or?
Yes.
Okay,
That's
perfect. Because I want somebody to come and see to make sure that I'm doing the right thing.
Sure, I'm happy to come over and we can walk through what this looks like, and I'll bring some stakes and some string, and we'll
Fabulous.
we'll figure it out.
Fabulous. I love where I live, and I have fantastic neighbors. I must tell you, I'm not flattering my neighbor, Rick, who is who is watching me now. He watches me every day outside, whenever I'm outside. But I must say, I'm so blessed with extraordinary neighbors, and I love the community, and I wouldn't do anything to upset anybody or to make the neighborhood look ugly.
Right. Well, Marianne, we appreciate you working with us, and Joanne will be in touch.
Okay, perfect.
Good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marianne.
Thank you.
Yeah. Should I stay on or?
Yeah, if you want to watch the show.
You don't have
I have grading to do, so my students will kill me if they don't see the grade. Okay, great seeing you, gentlemen and ladies, and
We'll be in touch.
Thank you for the advice. Yes, we'll be in touch.
Okay, good night.
Good night.
All righty, our next item this evening is the public meeting request for determination of applicability. 19 Oak Ridge Drive, Richard Oddie. And we did a site walk on Saturday. It was a long commute from number 21 Oak Ridge to number 19 Oak Ridge. And it was nice to meet you, sir.
Thank you. You too.
Yep. And you had proposed basically extending. There is a concrete retaining wall there now. You proposed extending it to the left and to the right 16 feet with wooden, it's a wooden retaining wall. Is that correct?
Right. Landscape timbers.
Landscape timbers that are be set into aluminum I-beams.
Yes.
Yep. And then leveling off the ground between that and your house to create a better living space.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Any commissioners have any thoughts about this project?
I had no issues with it.
Yeah, I think what we discussed on site and then possible, drainage area and things like that. I think everything looked fine.
I do like the idea of using the on site for the patio as opposed to doing anything that's not permeable. So I think that's good.
Could you
Okay,
say that
any other?
again?
Pardon?
Could you say that again? I missed-
Oh, sure. I said utilizing the brick that was already on site. So there's a permeable floor, whatever that is.
That's within the concrete area.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Which will probably be the brick, right? What it's sort of.
Yeah, that'll be the brick. The rest will be grass.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Any other comments or suggestions from commissioners? Any comments from citizens that are watching? So do we make a motion to approve the RDA for 19 Oak Ridge Drive?
To issue a negative
Oh,
determination.
negative.
Yeah.
Motion to issue a negative determination at
Which
19.
Which is a good thing.
Right.
At
Hey,
19
Rick, 1 second. Just one question. You said you're gonna do poured concrete, right?
I'm sorry?
You're gonna do poured concrete, was it? Or I forgot how you said you were building the wall.
poured concrete only for the aluminum I-beams, just to
Okay.
set the posts.
Oh, okay.
They're I-beams, and then the timbers will fit between them. It's a soldier pile style.
Okay. Yep. That's right. I forgot about that.
That's the only concrete. There'll be crushed stone underneath the timbers.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. I forgot how you
And
were constructing
behind.
that. I don't have it in front of me anymore. So yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. So I'm sorry. Go ahead, John. You can make the motion.
Yeah, is there a motion to issue a negative determination in 19 Oak Ridge Drive?
So moved.
Second.
George Bacon moved and Mark Phillips seconded. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Jess?
I,
Mark?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. So will you be in touch with Joanne to sort of coordinate? When do you plan this project, sir?
I'll be starting it soon.
Yeah, Joanne, would you probably be curious or want to go out and check things out periodically?
Yes, so let me just tell you, Rick, the way the next part of this process works. When the commission votes on this negative determination, I will draw up the actual negative determination and send it to both you and DEP. DEP has an appeal period that needs to run on this before you can start your project.
Okay.
But I'll give you a call on Monday, and because that's the day I'll actually draw up the document, and I can look at the calendar and we'll tell you how long you have to wait to hear from DEP. I highly doubt that they will appeal your project, but we still have to let that appeal period run.
Okay. All right.
So I'll give you a call on Monday.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you all very much.
Yep, good evening. Our next item this evening is a public hearing continued. Notice of intent at 0 Washington Street, Air Solar 2B, DEP file number 100-0444. And do we have Kyle? Are you with us this evening?
Yes, can you see me?
Yes, sir, I can. How are you?
Very good, thanks. How are you?
Very good, very good. Yeah. Is Cal here as well?
I am.
Okay, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
All right. You have a presentation for us.
Yes, well, I guess first I maybe would just start with a bit of background, and I'd like to actually then begin at my conclusion, and then back into the key outstanding issues, so that we can then resolve any questions that the commission might have. So the brief overview: in 2017, this project, in a slightly different form with a more northerly driveway, was approved and an order of conditions issued and recorded in 2017. There was a subsequent lawsuit over a technical matter by the abutters on the project. The project waited for a while, and then a negotiation with the abutters took place that brought about a negotiated solution with basically the layout that's there today. You might recall we came to the commission in January of this year with a request to amend the order of conditions. That was denied, and so we moved to file a notice of intent. We did so in February. COVID hit. We got peer review comments in June, and we have gotten an updated set after some back and forth with the consultants and the commission to clarify some of the issues. And so we submitted in September, not quite a month ago. And the consultants did a great job of turning around comments, which we have responded to, and they've given then even a following response to our response, just to clarify some of the issues so we know where we're all trying to go. And so that we're clear about our intentions tonight and where we're headed. We're looking to resolve all the questions that are outstanding, and we'll be requesting the commission to move to draft an order of conditions for this project. So as I said, the peer review is very thorough and a real credit to the consultants and service to the commission. The project has responded to the peer review with several substantial and several lesser technical revisions. The review by the consultants show that the project now before the commission is of sound engineering design and regulatory compliance, with two additional determinations that the commission must still make tonight. One regarding stream crossing standards versus stream bank preservation and tree box plantings. So we really need the commission's scrutiny, questions, and determinations on these two items tonight. Now that our design choices have been made and the reviews are complete. So before focusing on the stream crossing, it's important to note there was a third issue. That was a big issue of this new NOI that has come to the commission, and that was the tree topping and buffer zone clearing. The peer review looked at tree topping for ecological detriments and also for solar production efficiency. Ecotech generally concluded that there would be no significant impact to the wetlands from topping or buffer zone clearing. Neo Virtus compiled an extensive modeling and analysis and concluded that the loss of efficiency without tree topping was nearly identical to what had been put forth to the commission in the original submittal. So, and that was with no significant resource detriments and a relatively significant production reduction. We'd request that that question be closed unless there's any specific comments about that. So, backing into the details, the last letter this week from Ecotech, just a couple of points that are important. I think there was perhaps some confusion about a definition of land underwater. We're looking at the definition of land underwater from 310 CMR 10.56 2C, which says the boundary of land, underwater bodies, and waterways is the mean annual low water, which, because every year for long periods of time that intermittent stream channel is dry, there really is no mean low water. There's no water, so there is no land underwater. Next is an issue about the stream crossing standards as opposed to stream bank performance standards. So the stream crossing standards were initiated by the River Continuity Partnership and are referenced in the stream bank performance standards, but they're completely separate and different. The stream crossing standards are not initiated underneath the Wetland Protection Act, at least as far as I understand. And I've certainly looked to Art to chime in if I'm not understanding that correctly. So I guess I'd like to try to share my screen if possible, just to walk through the notice of intent narrative that was submitted. And I'm hoping that everyone was able to read that. It's a vital document to read through for our case for this project for this stream crossing. So if I may, I'll just go ahead and do that. And if everyone can see, this is the revised narrative that we submitted. And so I just will walk through this very quickly because there are other important points in here, such as our request that the order of conditions for the previous project, which I have provided an electronic copy of to the commission for convenience of drafting up those orders, includes very specific and very tightly controlled elements such as an environmental monitor and a method of procedures so that The commission has great oversight of what happens on the project to ensure that the resource is protected. There are various changes. The only addition to this is that the arch culvert has been added. And then after the tree topping, and if there's nothing new in here, and just so it's aware, everybody's aware, we have only we've reduced the residential component of this, which there is no residential component except the accommodation of utility infrastructure for some future application that would have to come completely separate in front of the commission as well as the planning board. So once we go from there, we look at what we have in the section of bordering vegetated wetlands. We identify the wetlands. We are, we obviously they've been flagged. Everyone has seen them. And this is a major component in the refinement of the culvert or the stream crossing with the wall system. We're able to actually reduce the BVW impact slightly down to 3,900 square feet. And then we go to the bank, and which I think is mainly at issue for the stream crossing. And so the Wetland Protection Act lays out many presumptions about naturally occurring banks. I won't go through each one of these, assuming that everyone has read through this. And so what we do is we point by point, as the Wetland Protection Act offers up, if these do not apply to the project, if this is not a stream, a resource of some significance according to what's laid out in the Wetland Protection Act under these criteria, then that presumption of significance is overruled, and the performance standards aren't applied anymore. In fact, we would conform to the performance standards of the bank disturbance in all regard if there was a defined channel that ran further downstream. Because the channel just flattens out to nothing, we are disturbing more than what would be 10% of that. In total, we're only disturbing about 68 total linear feet of bank, which you half that's 34 linear feet of stream channel. So we make these assertions about the non-significance of that bank. And in all cases, none of the characteristics that are laid out for the significance of the bank are present at this particular location. So that's number one. So we're not trying to comply with the stream crossing standards. We would if it weren't for the 10% rule. So we're going the route of rebutting the significance of that. So it's important for us to hit that point first. And if there's,
Kyle?
Yes.
So I'm just trying to figure out, so are we going to discuss each point, or are you going to give us a narrative for 30 minutes or so, and then we're coming back to points? How did you want?
I think if there is any question about this assertion of rebuttal of the significance of the bank, that we should discuss it now.
Okay. All right.
So I offer it to the commission at this point. If there are questions about this, if everyone has read through this document and these justifications and has questions as to the validity of the rationale, we should discuss that now. That's a fundamental aspect of this project.
Okay, great. So, and I appreciate all the stuff that you put in here. This is the kind of information that I find helpful. Although I'm going to look to get a little bit of clarification on some of the design drawings on page 24.
Okay. So okay, let's go to page 24. which here we are.
Yeah, there we go. Great, thank you. So the top part, the top one is your arch culvert design, which you guys are proposing, right?
That's correct.
Okay. The next one, which is the arch culvert angled, just trying to understand this, and I think you had referenced this once before, but I just want to make sure I'm understanding it properly. In the lower left of the diagram, you're showing, so the span by doing the arched culvert covering across the, where is the current stream channel, let's say. So it's a 9.2 inch span versus your arch culvert above it, which is 8 point, or I'm sorry, not 8 point, but 8 feet 9 inches, right? So we got an increase of about, so was it 5 inches in the span, correct? Am I understanding that properly?
That's correct.
Okay, and then the rise is going up another 6 inches.
That's correct.
And then the overall length is 29 versus 24, obviously, because it's on an angle. Okay. What I didn't quite understand, so if you could help me through it, in doing the arched culvert angled concept, you reference up above where it's covering the, I'm sorry, I'm looking on my copy here. It says something about it's covering the existing culvert. Was that it? And creating a damming effect?
So if we're looking, I think what you're confusing, Mark, is this last option here.
The shift.
Okay. Is that, so in the last option here, we were contemplating if we were to try to further minimize any disturbance and only put the culvert over top of the existing stone culvert and the channel that leads from it, we would do this. But that would effectively kill the openness ratio. We would also probably have to somehow alter the existing stone culvert, which we don't know its condition or its stability. And it's part of the hydrology that leads to this intermittent stream channel, and we weren't going to touch that because we don't have rights to go across the property line to get to the other head wall.
Okay, so yes, you would be taking that culvert right to the property boundary, right? Is that how I'm understanding that?
That's right.
Okay, and the arch culvert that, not arch culvert, I'm sorry, the existing stone culvert, as you indicated, I think the partially collapsed one or whatever, that's right there where you're doing the little motion there?
Yes, that's right. That's the head wall of it. And then it goes back to the upstream intake head wall up here on the other, off the property. So we want to.
Okay, that's what I was misunderstanding. Okay, now I see it. Now I get it. Okay.
Right,
Yeah, the upstream one is the one I was thinking you were covering, so that's what I didn't quite understand.
Right. Now the grade difference, what occurs is if we push it back this far, then there's really no opening to the culvert. And we've created quite a damming effect when the existing stone culvert fails. It doesn't allow as much water through. It doesn't function hydraulically the way it should.
Okay. Okay, so then going back to the middle design, the angled culvert, the reasons that you state that this was not selected, so you indicate increase of culvert length, width, and height, increasing footprint and disturbance. Constructability conflict with wing wall tiebacks, further increasing disturbance, practical construction tolerances for separations from stormwater management system and water service line. What do you mean by the water service line? I didn't get where you were going with
There
that.
is a water line that crosses as part of the accommodation of infrastructure for the future residential lot.
Okay.
So in brief, what happens if we start to turn this culvert is it becomes more difficult to construct, number one, and more costly, yes, number two. And what we're trying to say by doing that is what we just left and came to this point to look at. The significance of this stream channel, which connects the BVW to an upland area, which are otherwise disconnected resources. If we look back at the Oxbow habitat evaluation that was done in 2017 to look at this existing stream channel, it's not of good quality. It's not of any significant habitat. And what we will put back when we put our culvert in is going to be arguably much better as a habitat for anything that would happen across it. So by trying to preserve this, what's scrubbed and in here is, number one, it's not a significant resource, is my argument. And number two, it burdens the project with additional complexities which are harder to construct, result in more overall disturbance, and would probably require a different culvert system.
Okay, so yeah, so that was actually my last question then too. So in doing an angled culvert, you cannot use the aluminum box type structure. That's not feasible.
I'm not saying it's infeasible, but it's certainly more complicated. And in fact, my argument is that because of the way that the tiebacks work, they would start to interfere with the rest of the infrastructure that's at this crossing.
Okay. But again, that would be if you are using the aluminum, the aluminum arch culvert with the tiebacks and everything.
And if we don't use the aluminum arch culvert, it becomes a box culvert that has a buried invert, and we're ripping out everything here anyway. Which we don't, I don't mean to diminish the importance of the connectivity of the stream channel, which is why we are providing a very much improved bank for the relocated channel to make sure that connectivity is there for any vertebrates or invertebrates that happen to cross it, that want to get to some otherwise, non-connected
backyard
area. Yeah, right, to a mowed backyard.
Yep. Okay. All right, and an inverted, as you call it, I think, right? Inverted box culvert. That's the only other option.
Well, then we go to things like bridges, and that's not feasible for the project.
Okay. And what's the cost difference, would you say, between the arch culvert design that you're proposing there at the top, and then the angled culvert, if it had to go to a box culvert? What's the cost differential? Are we talking 2 to 1, 3 to 1?
I don't even know that it's a cost differential question and I don't have that number, so I apologize. We're not pricing it at this point, but it's a feasibility and a cleanliness of the construction, so that we're not creating something more complicated that's harder to build, that's going to get messier, that's going to be harder to control, to safeguard the resource that we're right adjacent to, that we're going through. We're trying to minimize what we're doing in the BVW, and there would be impact to this channel. To completely avoid this channel is not part of the stream crossing standards, and I'm just saying that this channel, the bank that's there, is typically a 4-inch bank, 2 to 4 feet wide, and has no significant habitat value according to Oxbow Associates. And we're trying to make it a reasonable crossing that preserves as much as possible there without making it a difficult construction, which is also part of the stream crossing standards, deferring to engineering judgment and constructability.
Yeah. And on the top design with the arch culvert, so is it somewhat to scale? So is it safe to say that the width of your culvert right now, the 8 foot 9 inch, gives us an idea that it's about a 10-foot distance that you're redirecting, let's say, from the culvert back to the current stream? Yeah, right there. That's about 10 feet there.
Here, it's maybe 15 feet or so.
Okay.
This is a 24-foot culvert, so that's about 15 feet.
Okay, all right.
So,
Any other commissioners have any comments?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jen.
Yep. Jen, do you have any thoughts?
No, I thought that was really helpful, Mark. Thank you. Those were good questions. I'm still kind of comparing the two now, but thank you.
George, do you have any thoughts?
No, do our peer reviewers take issue with anything that was just said?
Yep. Arthur, do you have any Any comments?
Yeah, Art Allen from Ecotech here, peer review consultant for the commission. My most recent review memo was dated yesterday, where I respond to concerns raised by GPR, primarily about my main outstanding comment on the stream crossing. And I'll backtrack to say generally I agree with Kyle on his characterization of the way he's addressed my other comments. And primarily I'm down to the stream crossing standard issue being left on the table. I just wanted to mention that I believe Kyle's misconstruing the purpose of the stream crossing standards in the Wetlands Protection Act regulations to some extent. If we refer to 310 CMR, oops, so, it's 310 CMR 10.5. For, I just had it here. All right, 10.5 for the general performance standards, they include habitat characteristics, which I agree are negligible on this section of the stream. But there are also physical standards for the bank, such as physical stability, water carrying capacity, groundwater and surface water quality. I believe, I don't see in his narrative that he specifically addressed those, but that's essentially why I'm saying this section of stream and stream bank has value under the Wetlands Protection Act. And the way that the stream crossing standards are integrated into that is that they say in 10.5.4.6 that the presumption of compliance with the performance standards for bank are presumed to be met if you meet the stream crossing standards. So it's not just the wildlife habitat characteristics we're talking about. It's also the physical characteristics of the stream bank that are in the performance standards and presumed to be met by compliance with stream crossing standards. And I did state in my comment, although the preferred alternative, the basically straight across culvert, is feasible and will likely result in the restoration of existing functions and values provided by the existing stream banks and land under water. And I'll just clarify land under water too. I know what Kyle's saying about the fact that the land under water is defined by the area between the low water lines. That basically would come to say that bank would be a center line in an intermittent stream. That's been adjudicated by DEP, and it's been found that even intermittent streams have land under water and two banks, because a stream has to have a bank on either side to be a stream. So it has been found by DEP that even intermittent streams have land under water. So the land under water is that span between the banks. But I also said that the preferred alternative, the straight across culvert, does not provide full compliance with the stream crossing standards, but is being justified by the applicant's finding of minimal existing habitat value and the cost/logistics of spanning to preserve the existing stream channel. I clarified that further because basically what we're looking at is the preferred alternative would essentially meet stream crossing standards by relocating the stream within the culvert. So you'd be spanning, you'd be properly spanning a stream that is moved from its original configuration. And I mean, I don't believe that was the spirit of the way the regulations were written, I mean, it was I believe the intention was to span over the stream bank the stream and banks in its existing location. But that being said, the regulations don't specifically say, that you have to span the stream in place. And I've actually never dealt with a case where it's proposed to meet the standards by realigning, the stream and restoring it. Not that it can't be done, but I haven't dealt with that. I don't know how DEP would view that. But at this point, I would really, have to defer to the commission, noting that the reconfigured stream would, they would meet the standards in the realigned stream, but they're not spanning the stream in its existing location. I also asked Mike Andrade, who I believe is on the call, the peer review engineer, to opine on the feasibility of the angled culvert to preserve the stream crossing. And I don't know if it's a good time for Mike to jump in, but he did have some comments, on the feasibility of the angled culvert. So
And Mr. Chairman, if we could get to Michael, if I could just make one point first about what we're proposing, just so that's clear to the commission. And Art is correct about many things, but what we're proposing is the rebuttal of the bank presumptions, where in general standard number 4, it says where the presumption set forth in 310 CMR 10.54.3 is not overcome. So we are showing piece by piece, line by line, why it is that this bank would not actually meet the presumptions set forth in 310 CMR 10.54.3. I just want to make sure that we are clear on that. And then Mr. Andre.
And Mr. Andre, could you chime in here for us, please? Is Mr. Andre?
Yep. Sorry, I had to unmute myself there. So I have a letter dated October 6th, which you should all have. And I'm down to a couple issues myself, minor issues that could be conditioned, in my opinion. And we should maybe talk about item 20 a bit later, and my thoughts on that. And I was asked to opine on the culvert configuration, and my comments there. Basically, in summary, the straight, which is the proposed, versus the angled concept, they're both constructible, both feasible. In my opinion, the angled concept might result in less earth disturbance. It would require, based on the current design, some stormwater adjustments and whatnot. But I don't see that it complicates the project any further. The site is already and the design is already rather complex given the constraints of the site.
I add more.
So it would require some changes to the stormwater design, I'm sure. But so I mean, my opinion, to me, it comes down to it's probably a cheaper alternative to do the straight culvert because it's a smaller culvert. But both are equally constructible, in my opinion, in my experience. And angled culverts, we see them all. Angled arch culverts, we see them all the time. They're not uncommon.
Thanks, Mike. Kyle, so this is Mark. I guess in my opinion, my background basically says, if we're provided a standard, we're supposed to meet that standard. We can't build anything that doesn't meet standard because.
But that's not what we're talking about, Mark. We're not out of compliance with the standard.
Well, I guess I'm interpreting the standard that it should encompass. It shouldn't, in my mind, move the stream. That it should.
Have you looked at the stream to understand the characteristics of the stream?
Could we hear what Mark finishes saying first?
So, and again, I'm just one, commission member, and like I said, if we were to build something out of standards and something did not pass muster or failed or whatever, the DPU, PUC, they would have our heads. And again, the way I interpret the standards, and again, you can tell me I'm wrong, and just as you said, it's been gone back and forth, and Art, described the case there that an intermittent stream with no water, where the center line is basically the banks, that's been refuted also. So I mean, we can go back and forth. In my mind, I think the angled concept is really the way to go. So that's my opinion. I don't know if anybody else has any other commission member has a.
Yeah, could I speak for a minute, please? So I've been listening to this, and I understand we're getting all caught up in the technicalities of this. The fact is, it's really not much there in the way of value for the stream crossing. And when you go and do the construction, it'll be very unlikely that this stream crossing that sits in this, where this crossing is going to go, will be undisturbed by the time construction is done. It's just not the reality of how these things go. So wherever you put it, it's going to be reconstructed. So the question then becomes, is it worth going through the extra effort and complexity of trying to put it on an angle like this if the net result of what you get is going to be effectively the same, and in both cases will be better than what's there now? And so we're asking you to be a little reasonable, and we're also saying that the regulations as written contemplate being able to rebut the value of a stream crossing just for a case like this. And I don't think you should neglect that or turn away from that because it sounds too complicated. You're certainly not doing anything untoward or something that somebody would come and have your head because this crossing goes straight across instead of on an angle. I mean, that's just not realistic.
I believe that there are a lot of commissioners that feel that stream crossing or that stream has value, and that it's our job to protect it.
So you think the Oxbow report then that looked at it piece by piece is inaccurate then?
I
disagree with it.
The angled stream crossing is the way to go. That's how I feel.
And if I could, Art Allen here one more time through the chair. Again, the wildlife habitat value is only one aspect, numbers 4 and 5 of the performance standards for bank. The reason I'm saying this stream and the banks have value are because of performance standards 1, 2, and 3, which I don't see addressed in the narratives at all. The focus appears to be just on the presence or absence of wildlife habitat value, and that's not the only value of the stream. That's why I'm saying the stream has value, whether it's spanned in its existing configuration or reconstructed within the culvert. I mean, that stream needs to be put back at a minimum to address the first 3 performance standards of bank. Thank you.
But didn't you also say that would be the case when we reconstruct it? That
it is feasible to do that. I did say that. I mean, stream, and in a lot of cases, I agree that with small streams and relatively small crossing structures like this, the streams do tend to get disturbed during construction and end up having to be rebuilt anyway. So that's not the point of the standards, but that's from a practical standpoint what can happen with these smaller streams and smaller structures once you dig for the footings and all the associated disturbance. Right. And so yeah, that's very likely to happen.
Well, thank you for that. And that was the point I was trying to make, is it's going to be disturbed. It's going to be rebuilt better than where it is. So then does it really have significance that it's on an angle like that as opposed to being straight across, if in either case it's going to be reconstructed and be in better shape than it is currently, which is the practical approach that we've been taking on this. That's basically our argument in a nutshell.
I make a comment, Mr. Schellenberger. Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Ken.
Okay, could you go back to that drawing that you had up there, page 24?
Yes, sir.
Just while we go back to that drawing, I wanted to let everybody know we have about little less than
Ken Diskin, 180 Washington Street. I'm a
Thank you,
abutter to
Ken.
the project, and I've been following the project since its inception. And I appreciate the discussion about the stream crossing and all the technical aspects that were pointed out by both Kyle and the applicant's engineer, and the rebuttal by the consultant to the Conservation Commission. But in practical terms, and I happen to have pretty good knowledge of this, I would definitely agree that they take the side of the applicant in this case, and that the straight configuration would be the answer. But I have more to say about the whole layout there in that particular location. My concern from the beginning, and all of our abutters' concern in the beginning, has not been the small aspect of the stream crossing, which never came up the first time around, but the fact that how do you do this type of construction at any depth through this wetland area without impacting more than what is shown in the drawings? It's never been our concern that the drawings weren't great. Our concern has always been that the impact shown on the drawings in plan view and elevation and section will not, in fact, be what happens when machines get in the field. And if you'd stay in that 24, I'd appreciate it.
Okay.
So I think the commission's challenge is much, much more than the stream crossing has been from the beginning. And the challenge is really, tree removal, grading, the whole cut and fill, whether the material subsurface is sufficient to put this kind of construction in place in the first place, without it being much, much deeper foundations, inappropriate material, on and on it goes. So I would have liked to seen soil studies right through the whole construction area of the culvert to know exactly where the footing is going to land, where there is suitable construction material. Taking this page 24, which I'm glad you guys cut out, I had a couple other comments. First of all, I've also asked Kyle this in the past, but it was a long time ago. If you look at the first drawing, and you'll see very clearly he's showing the property boundary there and the existing culvert. It seems to me any practical person would have asked Mr. and Mrs. Madigan and his son that they should get permission to step off the property and repair the entire culvert system from beginning to end, and not think that you could even drive a machine to install any kind of work on a culvert that's been spoken about many times by the applicant as ready to collapse. So I don't see how you could possibly do the job without extending an invitation to the neighbor and say, and I believe there's an easement there for maintenance. The easement goes right across the property for the culvert maintenance. So it would seem practical the applicant would just reach out, and I'm sure they'd say yes, and create a drawing that really creates solves the whole problem at the same time. You wouldn't go in and spend $1 million on a road and all this work without fixing that mess that's right there, where you're going to drive over it many, many times during construction, and it's going to get wrecked anyway. So that's my opinion on that. The property line is right there. We can all see it. There's probably no way you can work there practically with machines and get this kind of work done. The other comment quickly, which I'd like to the applicant to consider while I have the floor, and I appreciate that, is if you look in the first drawing, you see where he clearly shows the end of the pavement line. And this is a question for Kyle and company, I guess, and GPR. Why wouldn't you extend them? My question, it's funny, I had these notes written down on a piece of paper to talk about the drawing, which was number C45, which gives you the details, but it's clearly shown here in the page 24, that if you extend the pavement to station 600, which is beyond the culvert, it just seems practical construction-wise that you'd want to pave across the culvert, the new crossing section there, and create a section of paving that would take you to like about station 600, where you're beyond the retaining wall work and all the structural work that's going to need to stay in place, and you wouldn't want to chance it with washouts or any kind of loss, due to storms and whatnot. I'd cover it with paving, just a suggestion to the engineers. And the big question, as I started out talking about, was, and the real question to me, and I'd like to see how anyone can come up with this answer, but I understand that the engineer has said that the use of this new aluminum, retaining wall system would reduce the impact of the BVW to 3,900 feet from, I think it was 4,400 feet. But to me, it's still a question of real practical experience in the field by the operators and how much destruction they do when they put everything in place. So I just don't buy into the fact that you can, 4,400 to me is low. 5,000 is low. I just think it'll always be more than what's really seen here on the drawings, and that the commission has a really difficult time, trying to make that kind of a judgment call. And I understand the engineer's design and the practicality of trying to do it, but it's pretty hard to do things in a straight line without, this drawing doesn't even show the silt fence line, the hay bale line, whatever is south of the work. It doesn't show either side of it, actually. It just shows the crossing plan. But practically speaking, you'd need to see the entire construction, fencing, hay bale location, whatever the particular, perimeter of the work is, and really know that it's all going to fit in that tiny, tiny spacing down there. I see it on the plan, but I don't buy into the fact that you can put machines in there. And that's what I have for tonight. But thank you.
We need to move on. Thank you for your comments. I didn't see what you held up, Jen. How much time do we have?
We're at time for this.
We are at time.
Yep.
All right. Well, clearly we're not going to come to a decision this evening. We still need to talk about tree topping. Any other comments from commissioners at present?
I was going to say, I was hoping we would return to the tree topping. I know, Kyle, you went over that very quickly, but that's not a done deal for me on that one.
Fair enough. It just seemed that way from the comments. I didn't mean to gloss over. I just wanted to mention it was a very important subject. It just, the results of the comments were that it seemed like it would have no impact, but of course, the commission should discuss it.
Yep. Any other comments from commissioners?
Jess, did you want to say something about the tree topping?
Um,
Do we want to go over just a few more minutes, John, or do we need to stay on?
We could probably go over a few minutes, but I don't think a few minutes are going to do it. Personally.
No, and we really don't even, we might have 2 extra minutes. We've got an awful lot to get through on the rest of the commission. And if Rohit is on the call, I know that he had something he wanted to bring up to the commission, and I'll leave it with him whether he thinks this is a good time or not.
Are you there, Rohit? Are you there, sir?
I haven't seen him come on, so.
I don't see him.
Jess, did you have a quick statement about the tree topping you wanted to make, or no?
Well, I mean, in terms of, minimizing impact to BVW and wetland areas, I just, cutting a swath of trees that are all going to die, even if it's quote unquote creating another habitat. For the amount of gain on that from the solar production, which was like for the southern section was like 1.3% annual increase from, if you, I'm getting it backwards, if you didn't cut the tree top.
Versus non-tree topping. Yep.
Right.
It was a negligible difference, and I'm in your camp also. I think that southern section is really a non-starter for me on that.
Yeah,
I agree with you both. I thought that the difference didn't make it worth it.
I mean, the one on the northern section, that's out of our jurisdiction, but I believe. But so that's all I had on that.
Thank you, Jess. Any other comments? Did Rohit
Landing's turtle report coming?
say again, George?
Landing's turtle evaluation, is that still pending?
So if I may, Mr. Chairman, the Blandings turtle with NHESP, I've been talking with David Paulson to finalize his letter. And certainly we would like to discuss that further with the commission. As I understand it, the commission may be receptive to taking the conservation restriction. The 38 acres that will be put into conservation restriction is part of this project now to obtain the no-take letter from NHESP. And the letter will come out. It will have the conditions that the conservation restriction has to be, maintenance has to be taken over by somebody, but that represents a no take. That's the intent of the project. So that's forthcoming. It's been in the works, and this is what generally that area looks like. The outline of it is in the purple. I don't know if you can see that.
Could I ask one question on that? It said you're looking for somebody to accept the CR and take over annual maintenance. When we've done some other open space residential developments, we've made arrangements that if we take the CR, it doesn't become an additional expense for the town to pay for the monitoring. That's incorporated into, say, a homeowners association. So would this be something that you'd be asking the town to take up that annual expense on?
I think the agent has more information about that than I do at the moment.
I just might. I was hoping Rohit would join us this evening. He and I have had some very good conversations about this. He's looking for a home for the CR, and I really don't want to speak for him, but there are reasons to think that we may be able to work something out.
Yes, I am on the line, so I don't know if you can hear me.
Very good.
Sorry, I just wanted to respect everybody's conversation. This is Rohit Garg, and yes, Commissioner, and the Conservation Commission Board, yes, as Joanne has said, that we are in preliminary conversations initially, and so we would like to continue to have a conversation to dive into further about what the CR would look like with the town agent prior to coming back to the commission to do a formal request and so forth. So some of the questions that were asked, we just need to get a little bit more clarity because we're in right now initial preliminary discussions.
Okay, very good.
We're over by about 5 minutes.
Well, I don't see that we are done with this conversation on the stream crossing, the tree topping. So I would propose that we continue until the 22nd. Any discussion on that?
Just as the keeper of the agenda, we had blocked off half of our meeting on the 22nd for other commission business, and it looks like we may have to move that agenda item to a different day if we're going to accommodate another lengthy discussion about this project. Just so you are all aware.
Okay. Well, I think this is an important item to be to be discussed, and possibly we need to just move our business on the 22nd and speak about this at length.
Yep, I agree.
Yep.
So is there a motion? Any other comments from commissioners or citizens?
Yes. Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, Ken.
There's
Quickly.
probably
Very quickly.
there probably hasn't been and probably may never be a more complicated project for the Conservation Commission to consider. So despite the fact that you are in a pinch for time, this needs a lot of attention. So I just comment that is the public. And it's unfortunate we just can't get more people on the Zoom meetings. So
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, we've given about 45 minutes of our time this evening, which is a lot compared to what we have. So is there a motion to continue the public hearing? I'm sorry, the notice to,
Yeah, it's a public hearing.
yeah, the public hearing, notice of intent, 0 Washington Street, Ayer Solar 2B, DEP file number 100-0444 until October 22nd.
Second.
George Bacon moved. Mark Phillips seconded. Ken, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. We will continue this on the 22nd.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Kyle. Yeah.
Our next item this evening is a public hearing continued. ANRAD off of Wright Road, DEP file number 100-0445. And we have been asked to continue.
Yes, we received a request from Seth Donahoe to continue. He let me know today that he has finished the field work portion of relocating a number of flags and flagging for the first time a wetland resource area that was inadvertently missed in the NRAD filing. So he's hoping to get that to me very soon. So it's possible that we could look at it on the 22nd if we have time.
Something else. All right, any comments from commissioners?
No.
Any comments from citizens viewing? Is there a motion to continue the public hearing, the ANRAD off of Wright Road, DEP file number 100-0445 until October 22nd?
So moved.
Second.
George Bacon moved. Phillips seconded. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. We will continue until the 22nd. All right, our next item this evening is public hearing continued. Notice of intent 0 Taft Street. Brian Anderson, still no DEP file number.
Still no DEP file number. I was in touch with the engineer throughout the day. We kept looking at the DEP portal and no DEP file number yet.
So we can't continue?
And he requested that we continue. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Any comments, commissioners? Comments from citizens viewing? Is there a motion to continue the public hearing, notice of intent 0 Taft Street? Mr. Brian Anderson, DEP file number to be assigned until, well,
I know.
until October 22nd.
Yep.
So moved.
Second.
All righty. George Bacon moved. Mark Phillips seconded. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. We will, to be continued. Jen, how much time do we have left, please?
We're over by 6 minutes. We've got 32 minutes left.
Thank you. Okay, we have a discussion of National Grid violation on Rosewood Ave. Any information on that?
I see Allison has joined us as the representative for the applicant. We've had a lot of back and forth between town council and the legal department at New England Power Company. Allison and I have had multiple conversations about the order of conditions, and Allison may have come up with the solution today. So the rub is the way the order is written. There's no property owner on the line on the order where we need a property owner. And then there was also some confusion about the parcels listed. We didn't know who who owned those parcels. So the order of conditions gets recorded against specific deeds for a project. And Allison did some research, and it seems that the 4 parcels that are listed on the notice of intent and now the order of conditions are in fact parcels owned by New England Power Company, and that unless she's found something different, that there are no parcels that in fact have easements across them. Did you find anything different, Allison?
I did not, and I put together a visual to share as well if I thought that might be helpful, showing the NOI plans overlaid with the property boundaries on the parcel IDs that can be cross-referenced to the existing order of conditions that the commission has prepared for New England Power, and it also shows the property owner. So I sent those to you, Joanne. I didn't know if I had the right to share. I guess I can share my screen, yes, right? Because Kyle is sharing a screen. Okay. Yep. Do you want me to do that?
Yes, please.
Okay.
It really, I went back through the notice of intent, and it really is difficult to sort out where the parcel boundaries aren't shown. So if you have a graphic showing them, Allison, that would be great.
Okay. Let me know when it pops up.
To be clear, we're being asked to okay a change to an order of conditions we've already issued, right?
Yep. So there were three requested administrative changes by New England Power, their real estate legal group. There's 2 annotations at the bottom. One is a return address to Grace Walsh at Legal National Grid, just to make sure that that's what she always requires, to make sure that document gets back to her for her files. And then she has legal file numbers. That's also at the bottom of page 1, and that must be an internal reference. I'm assuming something about their filing and keeping track of all their records. And the last change is they wanted to put one line through New England Power has easement rights. And at first I think we were confused about that, but then after I did some research, it turns out that the 4 parcels on the order of conditions are in fact fee owned. So to me that does make sense, that because the applicant is New England Power, that we do not, the applicant is the same as the property owners, and therefore we don't need that language talking about easement rights. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So this is the first page. What I had done is I just took the mapping, and the pink here are the parcel boundaries, and so I had them just put a really bright yellow colors. Hopefully, because I know people working on screens. Hopefully, is it visible? Is it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So then here's the 19-11 is the first parcel that's on the order of conditions, and the property owner here, New England Power Company. That's the actual Ayer substation. And then the property that directly abuts that, where we have some matting here in the wetlands, is 19-12. That's also listed on our order. As we move northerly, we have this large parcel here. That's also New England Power Company, to parcel 12-26. And here we have some temporary matting and some borings and BW. The impact callouts are here within that yellow polygon.
Sorry to interrupt, Allison.
And then,
let you know
no problem.
We're about at time.
Okay, all right. And this is the last location where we have wetland impacts, and we're showing the yellow parcel owned by New England Power. And this is the last area where it's the access road that's existing, but we do not have any matting or borings in that location. So that's a summary of the findings of the ownership and the parcel.
All right, that's really helpful to me. So I think Allison and I can finish sorting this out, and my suggestion is that I just prepare a new order of conditions for you all to sign. I think that would be the simplest thing to do. The one that you did sign hasn't been recorded, can't be recorded the way it is.
Right, and we don't physically sign it, so you'd be signing it on our behalf. So can we vote to approve those administrative changes pending your production of a new revised order?
I think I would prefer that you guys at least see what this looks like before you vote on it.
That does add more things onto our.
Oh, I know. The little additions at the bottom of the first page that Allison was talking about, town council isn't sure that DEP is going to approve that. The DEP is very territorial about their forms.
We can leave that for DEP to sort out. I mean, we'll find out one way or the other, won't we?
Well, we will, and it will. Town council said it will come back to us. So,
Allison, have the notations that Grace was asking for? Is that stuff that has happened in the past, and has DEP allowed it? Do you know?
That's New England Power's common practice, yes. And in fact, if I just like to mention too that typically we would include these on the front page. We would just ask for written approval, and we can record with red lines. That's never been an issue with the registries to date.
Okay.
So that's been an option that some commissions have moved forward with just to reduce the workload on their end.
All right. And in discussions with town council, she was not recommending that we proceed with something that had red line on it. So.
Okay. Then that's entirely your decision. Yep.
Yeah. As I said, we need to wrap this up. I think Allison and I can sort this out, and I will bring you a 3-minute agenda item on the 22nd, and we'll get it sorted then, if that's all right with you.
Yes, absolutely. Yep. Thank you, Allison.
You're welcome. Thank you all.
Yep. All right. So our next discussion item, request for certificate of compliance, 150 Hemlock Drive. We have an affidavit for one. Is that correct? Oh, we still have a.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm working on it. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'm going as fast as I can.
Oh, no. Take your time. Take your time.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you. Bye. I'll talk to you Monday, Allison.
Talk to you soon. Thank you.
John, we have 3 minutes left.
Thank you.
Oh boy. So for 150 Hemlock Drive, we have a request for certificate of compliance. We have an as-built plan. Your agent went and made an inspection with the homeowner's permission today, and we have everything we need.
And we have the affidavit, right?
And we have the affidavit, yep. And I have here, sitting next to me, a completed certificate of compliance, ready for you all to electronically sign, which I've already done for you. And we can get that one on its way. I see Desheng is joining us.
Hello.
Hi, Desheng. It's been a long time.
I know. It's nice to see you all.
Nice to see you too.
Yeah.
So there were originally 9 requests for certificate of compliance sent to the commission. We didn't have affidavits for any of them. That's a requirement in the order of conditions that the new owner be notified that there is an order of conditions on their property. And as I say, now we have an affidavit and we can issue the one. And I think Desheng would like to help us make a plan for being able to clear up the other 8 and possibly one more. Is that right, Desheng?
Yeah, so total, we also submitted for lot 02, which is 138 Littleton Road. I believe I just forward to you the affidavit. We submit completion inspection report, and Steve have submitted the request with the as-built plan. I believe the wetland application is all in and it was growing well. And we have inspected for the first growing season. We'll follow up for another year, but the plants are growing very well. So I think it's ready to issue the certificate of compliance. We will continue for one more year just to make sure the vegetation grow to satisfy the DEP's monitoring plan. There's also two more, if I understand right, 77 and 166 Woodland Road also, Woodland Way also has an affidavit signed, and I need to make sure Duke is here, probably can comment on it, if he already submitted the affidavit to the commission or not. So, but I assume if it gets signed, it would submit it. And we have done completion inspection for all the total 10 lots as far as I know. And I believe the 134 or 130 Woodland Way already issued the certificate. So it would be leave it with 8. If today get 1, then will be a 7, and then we have 2 more submitted. Probably have 5 more to be done with the affidavit, and I think Duke is working on it, and hope we'll get it done in shortly, because due to the COVID-19, people just don't want to meet, so it's to some degree it's understandable. But I think hopefully right now it's eased a little bit. He will get that done, and as soon as we got the affidavit, hope we'll submit it. And if it require site inspection, since we already submitted the report, we can probably combine with the winterization, the next item we're going to discuss. Hopefully we can have a quick site visit to get the rest of the lots visited. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. As soon as we get the affidavits, I can issue pull together a COC in a matter of moments. So
Great.
Keep those affidavits coming.
Do we need to make a motion to issue the certificate of compliance? Yeah. Is there any comments from commissioners? Any comments from citizens viewing? Is there a motion to issue a certificate of compliance, Ridge View Realty Trust, 150 Hemlock Drive?
What's the DEP number, Joanne?
Yeah, I don't see it.
100-0282.
Thank you.
That was a while ago, huh?
I know.
So is there a motion to issue a certificate of compliance, Ridgeview Realty Trust, 150 Hemlock Drive, DEP file number 100-0282?
So moved.
Second.
George Bacon moved, Mark Phillips seconded. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess? How do
Aye.
you vote? Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye.
So the other matter we can talk about while we have Desheng with us is whether or not you all want to do a site walk to talk about the winterization plan, which I would recommend that we do. I mean, I'm happy to do it with Desheng, but I think it would be really good for you all to see the progress that I drove through up there today to make this inspection, and everything's looking quite good.
Good.
Yeah, so if I just give like a quick summary of the site condition, all the stormwater management pond and have been completed, and most of them are pretty permanently stabilized, and a couple of them the grass is germinating and may need some receding. So that's probably will be part of things to be discussed and reviewed. And the major area probably would be the soil borrow area to be stabilized and completed. And it was making a good progress around the way. And most of the house lot, so it's obviously it's all completed and permanently stabilized. And I didn't really count the construction lots. It's probably like 9 or 10 ongoing, and it will be mostly probably completed, and a few of them may have to be dragged into next spring. So if we look at it, so it definitely will be very, hope it's getting better and better. So every day, and I'm looking forward to see all things wrap up in the next, hopefully 6 months, or if it's not sooner.
Good. All righty. Shall we schedule a site walk?
Sure.
To take a look up there? This coming Saturday, is that the 10th? Is that possible?
I can't make that, but if you guys want to, that's fine.
I can't make the following Saturday, so possibly we could do the 10th.
I can do the 10th.
So
Shall we say 9 o'clock?
We can. It's possible doing in the afternoon. Is it this Saturday? That tomorrow, Saturday the 10th, right? So I have a meeting scheduled already. So if it's possible, move it to like 1 o'clock. I would really appreciate.
We could move it. I can't make it at 1.
I can't do the afternoon.
Okay.
Well, I'm happy to do this with Desheng. We could do it during the week, and
if you do it during the week, let me know when, and I might be able to join you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we can find a time, so convenient time for you to arrange that time. So it's probably better because I'm not sure if Luke can do it so the weekend either. So I haven't checked with him. So I think he probably expecting Sunday in the weekdays. So, but
Okay.
I usually can do, but this Saturday just have another meeting already scheduled. So I just couldn't in the
Okay,
morning.
that's no problem.
Joanne, could you just let us all know about the date during the week? I might be able to make it work.
Oh no, that would be great.
Yeah, what's commonly usually the better day for everyone? So maybe we can pick in a couple of days, and I don't know if Luke is on, but so it would be easier to check on the date and then getting back with at least with the estimated best chance.
Okay.
Desheng, I'll give you a call on Monday, and
Okay.
when I have my work calendar with me, and we'll.
Joanne,
Yep.
is town hall open on Monday? It's a holiday.
It's a holiday, right?
Is it really?
Yeah, Columbus Day. I don't know. I don't know if this year they won't cancel.
Who knew? Well, Desheng, I'll call you Tuesday.
Okay. I'm working. I know that.
Thanks, Jess. I probably would have driven to town hall on Monday. Desheng, I'll call you Tuesday, and we'll toss out a couple of dates and check with Luke, and I'll let everybody know, and we'll do something.
Yeah, I will try to get hold of it tomorrow to see if I can get a couple of convenient date for him. So at least when we talk, we already have at least some information to be discussed rather than we go back and forth.
Yep. Perfect.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Desheng. It's nice to see you.
Stay good. Nice to see you all.
We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
We've got 11 minutes left.
Go ahead.
11 minutes left.
11 minutes. Our next item this evening is the lack of posting for weed treatment by Solitude Lake Management. They posted some on Sandy Pond, but I didn't see any on Flanagan's Pond. Is Is that the issue?
That is the issue. Just took a photograph of the sign that they did post, and it almost looked like an after the fact posting. Jess was also in touch with Dominic, who's kind of our contact at Solitude, and he apologized. That doesn't really help the folks who went for a swim, not knowing that the sonar booster treatment had been done. I guess the lily pad treatment doesn't require posting, maybe, but I still think we need to know when folks are putting stuff in the pond so we can let residents know.
Yeah, there aren't too many people that swim in Flanagan's. I've seen a couple, but I'm not going in.
Well, no, but you know, keeping pets out and keeping kids out, and yeah.
This was the sign that was put up. Isn't like their normal signs. It was warning Sandy Pond to be or was treated. You can sort of see that.
Yeah.
And I think they just somebody put it up after the fact. And oddly enough, a few hours after I took that picture, somebody had ripped the whole thing down. So, but I'm confident. I think we brought it to their attention, and I think they'll be being careful next year.
Good. Well, that's really
in the past, just where have they posted them in the past?
Usually you see them scattered around a number of usually telephone poles along the pond. So say on Wright Road, you usually see at least 3 or 4. This was only a single sign on the road.
Okay.
It looked like. So as I say, one of my neighbors who was still swimming at the time went swimming around the pond that day. So she wasn't thrilled to find out.
Yeah.
So
can we add it to our fabulous meeting notes so that we're reminded when we sign the contract next year to remind them to do the postings?
Yeah.
You can put it in the contract if possible.
It actually is in the contract.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we'll just put it in bold letters.
Bigger letters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What we could do is we could have, if it's not posted, we could, and we're not notified, that they pay us back.
Yeah.
We get the whole thing for free.
There we go.
Basically a contract, you hold retainage back until the work is completed properly, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good thinking.
Well, and we usually do something like that with them. We don't give them their last payment until we receive our final report, because that's a really good way to ensure that we receive our final report.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the only issue with that, though, is so in a situation like this where they didn't do something and it's now, like you said, somewhat after the fact, how do we teach them the proper ways, right? Has to be some sort of mechanism.
Yes. Consequences.
Right.
Consequences.
With their heads.
Anything else on this item?
Nope. 7 minutes.
7 minutes. All right.
We have an action item to discuss status of moving forward with applications.
Yep. Let's see if I can do this in 30 seconds. The notice of intent for 1 Bishop Road, we finally got a DEP file number. Technical comments included. DEP is really, really wanting way more detail on that plan. And I'm in touch with the applicant's representative to see if we're going to get more detail on that plan. The RDA for the MBTA I've put off till sometime in November. The ANRAD for 0 Washington Street, I took a site walk with the developer and the town planner and the guys from Oxbow. I think you'll really enjoy a site walk when we get that far down there.
Is that on our agenda next time?
I believe so, to open the public hearing for that.
I think it should be, just because if we do a third-party consultant, the usable time for doing such a thing
Yeah.
this year is going to be running out.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Oxbow has already submitted what I'm calling a draft conservation analysis for that property. I've asked them to include a lot more detail, and they said yes, they would. The request for certificate of compliance for Pingree Hill, we already talked about. And I almost hate to say we got another notice of intent delivered today for the water and sewer for Shaker Mill Pond. It's going to be a directional drilling sort of situation. Should be an interesting project.
Who's submitting it? Who's the applicant?
Well, it's Dan Aho is the applicant, and a new engineer at Places Associates is doing the engineering work.
What's the directional bore? Is it along Shaker Road, or is it under the pond?
No, it's very interesting. So Snake Hill Road comes down the hill from the Pingree Hill development and actually continues across 2A as a right of way. It's not an actual road, but it continues across the way, and they're going to bring the water and sewer in that right of way.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so they'll be coming underneath Bennett's Brook, and really very, very close to the corner,
right,
where Shaker Road makes that sharp turn just before the road into the new subdivision goes straight.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
4 minutes.
I guess if I can make a suggestion, then can we push off Bishop Road, since they got to get more detail anyways, and maybe push off RDA, not so that they're not the RD for the MBTA, or not the second.
Yeah, that one, the RDA, I want to say is like November. So our second meeting in November, anyway. And
it sounds like you said Bishop Road, they still need some more detail anyway, so they're not really ready. So
no, they're not ready. They're not ready.
And the certificates of compliance, well,
as we get the affidavits.
They've made us wait, so they can wait.
Yep. So that's all on that.
Also, you said near there, the other property owned by Dan Aho, that's been put on a cease and desist for part of the project for the new.
Yeah, a resident in Harvard is disputing the location of the town line. So he has asked.
We don't have to do anything, right?
We don't have to do anything. Nope.
And did you get a violation notice out on the lawn hydroseeding pumping?
Well, if we want to go on to office updates, John?
Office updates.
Office updates. So I think, let's see.
2 minutes.
We have 2 minutes. Let's pick of the 10 office updates we have. I had a resident report that Prescott Landscaping was pumping water from the pond upstream of the culvert on Groton Shirley Road, which they are allowed to do. What they're not allowed to do is spill hydroseeding fluff all over the road, which is what happened. So my question is, do you want me to issue a violation or an enforcement order on that?
They're allowed to do that under the Wetland Protection Act, technically, right?
The pumping isn't the problem. It's the junk all over the road.
Right.
Yeah.
But we also have issues with pumping, and this is an out-of-town company, but pumping during a drought also. I mean, this is something that I think we should address eventually in regulations if we ever get to that. Because I'm not for just allowing that to happen without some sort of process through us, period.
Great. That's a good point.
So enforcement order.
I vote. What do you all say?
Yep.
What are you going to tell them to do? They've come and gone. There's nothing to clean up.
Oh no, it's still all over the road. The hydroseed mulch with the grass seed and the fertilizer is still sitting in a pile on the road.
Okay.
Yeah.
The least they can do is come and clean it up.
Yep.
All right, I think our time's up.
It is.
If you'd like a few more minutes, you can take it.
Really?
Oh my goodness. You're the best.
Awesome. Awesome. She is the best. So,
I don't know if that's good or bad news, but go ahead.
the other couple of, I'll pick maybe two more. Our fire chief retired. Today was really his last day. There was a lovely open house at the fire station, and he's been so kind to me and so welcoming and such, you know, when I remind him about the flashboards, oh, we already took care of that. You know, he really is just a gem. So, kind of our standard parting gift is our no dump, no disturbance sign. So I wrapped one up in pink flagging and wished him well on his retirement and hope that nobody dumped or disturbed anything about the next chapter of his life.
Yeah, that's nice of you.
Well, he is a one of a kind. Rosewood Ave, the pumping and possible disturbance of land underwater there. The pump has been removed. The pipes have been removed. The planks still remain. So New England Power said they weren't their planks. The drilling company said they weren't their planks. I called Calvin. He said, well, they're not my planks either, but tell me what you want me to do with them. If you want me to get rid of them, I'm happy to go in there and get rid of them. So I said, well, let me ask the commission. And they're probably 2x10s. They're a pair of 2x10s that must be joined together underneath with a cleat. They're probably 8 to 10 feet long. They're resting on a stone plinth. And then another set of them completes the access from the gravel edge of the road on the end of Rosewood over towards the edge of the water when that stream actually has water in it. They probably shouldn't be there. And we have somebody who's offering to remove them for us.
Good.
When people are allowed to pump from there, not in periods of drought, correct?
Well, people are allowed to pump from there, and unless we make a regulation that says they can't do it in periods of drought, they can do it in a period of drought as long as they don't change the hydrology of the body of water. So
does it cause more disturbance to that area, to the planks? You know, when the planks aren't there, would it cause more disturbance? Because if they're going to do it anyway, I'm just wondering.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you walk out on those planks the day we went out there? They're very wobbly.
They were dicey, yeah. Yep.
Well, we don't have to decide tonight. Maybe you can think about it. Let me go through my list here. So at our next meeting, just kind of a heads up, we've had the updated notice of intent and a new plan submitted by Mr. Hillier, and he'll be with us. I do take a walk about every other day up to the top of the bridge, and interestingly, there are only 3 cars parked down there.
Yeah, I've noticed that too.
I have no idea where the rest of the cars are, but there are really 2 to 3 cars, never more than 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
When I've been by, I haven't even noticed any cars, so they might be hiding somewhere. So I was surprised.
Well, and the big machine is out of there too.
So that I didn't even notice.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah, it is good.
Yeah.
Then really quickly, not to keep Cindy waiting, my last update is that I've had some conversations with North County Land Trust about contracting with them for our CR services. And they are still very, very interested in figuring out how to work with us. They're just in the middle of 2 gigantic land protection projects of their own right now. So we're probably looking really the beginning of the new year before they can, we're apparently next on the list. And they're very excited to be working with us. But it's kind of stay tuned, I guess.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else?
Not from me.
Motion to adjourn?
Before that,
Yes.
has anybody expressed any interest on being on DPW's tree management working group?
Well, you know, I did contact Marion, since she's so linked in with environmentally minded people, and surprisingly, I didn't hear back from her. So I'm going to have to double check that she's okay. I told Mark Wetzel that I would absolutely join in on that effort. And he said yes, but he really wants residents. So do any of you know anybody? George, do you want to do it?
I'd be willing to do it.
Okay, that would be great.
Jen, did you have any interest either? Or?
Interest, but no time right now.
So you're the keeper of the time and you have no time.
That's why I have to keep it.
Yeah, okay. George, do you want to tell Mark or do you want me to tell Mark?
I'll tell him.
Okay, good.
Thank you, George.
Okay.
So, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. Jen, how do you vote?
Aye.
George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chairman votes aye. Thank you all very much.